Well, howdy. Nearly Senior Citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this, a brand new day. Yay! Thumbs up for that. It is 8:13 a.m. Late start. That's fine. It happens. I've just been unable to really get motivated and moving. Yesterday, after therapy, I finished off all of my donuts, so yeah, I'm glutened, getting the last of the gluten out of me. So I didn't do a whole lot, plus I had therapy. So it's okay. It's a not sunny day. It's diffuse light, but it's a light day, and that's good. And my kitty cat is sitting on my lap. She goes from lying on the floor over there to lying on the floor over here when she's hungry. And then occasionally now she's feeling good enough that she sits on my lap again. And it's very, very good. Definitely a thumbs up on that. And of course, have to bow to the YouTube algorithms. Hey, if you could toss me a like, I appreciate all the positive validation I get from my existence. If you could subscribe to the channel, that would be very cool. Definitely a thumbs up. If you could leave a comment, I enjoy comments a whole lot. I thumbs up each one I read, and I read every one. I answer as many as my executive dysfunction will allow. That would be cool. And of course, I would like to thank each and every one of my Patreon patrons. These beautiful and awesome people are literally beautiful and awesome. Without them, I would be hosed. I wouldn't be able to feed my kitty cat. My hamster wouldn't be alive. I wouldn't be alive. So thank you, each and every one of these beautiful and awesome people, for being beautiful and awesome people. Hopefully I've held my hand up in the air long enough. Ow, my wrist hurt. I've been having a lot of issues. I press a lot with my wrist on my tabletop, and I've already had carpal tunnel problems. I've been having a whole lot of issues with my hand going completely numb again. So yay, that's joyous. But life is life. I am surviving, and I had thought, just as a minor thing, I use a denture adhesive. I have to now. My dentures don't fit well enough. And I thought I was using the kind that was non-zinc, because zinc is okay in small amounts, but you shouldn't take a lot. And they've been using it in denture cream since forever. But they have non-zinc kinds, and there's zinc, and I thought I had the non-zinc, and instead I had the zinc, so I gotta go spend more money that I can't afford to get the non-zinc kind because I don't want to have too much zinc. Yay! Life is life. Still though, I did have therapy yesterday, and my therapist was very pleased with what I had been telling him and talking about. He's a big believer in narrative therapy, where if you can write out these things in a fiction form, so that you control the narrative, so that you can work things out in your head by putting it out on paper, or, in any sort of text device, word processing, blah, 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 that sort of thing. How it's done is an important point, being narrative therapy. So he's been very pleased with the fact that I've been writing, working creatively, writing in my head so I can get this all done, if I ever do. But he's been very pleased with that, because I talked about a couple of the various characters and what's going on, and he likes how the whole thing with Iron John goes. Before I was even 1/4 of the way telling him what was going on with the character, he already knew that it was me. And so it's good. He was very pleased, and I'm pleased, and that's a good thing. Now, I don't know where I'm going with the character and where I'm going with myself on this yet, because it's something that I'm still figuring out, of course. But I'm going to do more things with the character, and I'm going to continue working on myself, of course. So thumbs up on that. Part of what I wanted to talk about, because I talked about this with the therapist, and so I've thought about it as well. There's two different types of creativity, really, that you can have in broad terms. Of course, there's a million billion different types. This is a false dichotomy, a false binary. But for the purposes of what I'm saying, there are two types of creativity, where you have a sort of goal, and then you're pushing your creativity along that goal to see what you get as you go toward that goal. And then there's just the, I've got a general idea, let's see where it leads me. And so you're just, what happens when you're going toward your predetermined goal versus, hey, where am I going on this path? I have always done this one, and I've always had problems and issues with making stuff work properly. This, when I've been starting on the whole Cosmic Horror Pantheon, and then I spent so much time working on that, that was it's a slow creative process, and I wish it could be faster, but it's also an organic one because it's not being pushed. I'm working on it and chewing on it mentally all the time. You know, either subconsciously / unconsciously, or when I'm out on walkies and physically working on the stuff and try to integrate it all. Try to remember where I'm going with all this. I hate having all these issues and bread stuff, but the process of creativity, there we go. So when I've been out walking and working on the Cosmic Horror Pantheon and figuring out what each of the cosmic horrors were like, I would sit and chew on things to find out what tasted right, to see if it had the right mouthfeel, to see if it was right. And if I found out that what I was chewing on didn't fit, didn't taste right, was just wrong, I would drop it entirely and then start chewing onto some part of it that did. And because I was chewing on it organically, I was able to come up with deeper stuff for each of the characters than I ever would have had I just gone, okay, this is the goal, push toward it and see what I find as I go there. Instead, with the, okay, here's the general idea, chew on it until I find out what it is, that has worked incredibly for me. Because the Cosmic Horror Pantheon framework, for me, fits together just like a tight house of cards logically, top to bottom. It fits and works, and so I've been able to focus on the setting. I came up with a general idea and then just started chewing on that idea to see where it would lead. I still have a lot of stuff that I'm not sure on and I'm still chewing on and can't get a handle for. But each time I've tried to push, I've had to back off because it doesn't work to drive towards something that's semi-already decided. So I'm having to slowly chew on a lot of stuff, and like I say, it's taking forever. But if I had not been doing it this way, and if I had pushed the Apple Rock Kaiju, who knows what that would have been. It may have been good, but it wouldn't have been anything like, the Razor's Edge being formed because of the interaction of the energies of the inside and then the energies of the outside as they rub together and form a static charge, forming a pool of this energy that is just as full of potential and possibility as the actual energy on the inside, but in the end destructive, but because to be used it has to arc. And of course now the Apple Rock Kaiju is one of those characters that was alive in this universe and had to watch their universe burn to ash in front of them. And then the world that they're stuck in now, it formed out of the ashes of every person, every hope, every dream, everything that was this mockery of a universe around them. And there, they themselves, that fire that burned away and murdered their universe, burned away so much of their physical and mental essence there. And then when this universe was formed around them, being constrained further into the form of their kaiju form, from a near infinite being forced into this, remembering everything that's come before them. Yeah, I understand this character. I never would have been able to come up with this had I pushed it. The entirety of how this all works, it works. And that's something I never could have pushed. So yeah, I wish it could be faster. But I never would have been able to come up with Iron John had I pushed. I didn't go into it with an agenda for a character and an idea. I went walking with the idea, I'd like to have a new character. What will I find? And what I found was the deep and tragic story of Iron John. Whereas had I gone into it with an agenda, an idea, who knows? It may have been good, but it wouldn't have been as deep. And I'm not saying I'm a great thing. This a lot of what I feel, I have a stunted social and emotional growth, and I've been a drama queen my entire life, and a lot of what I feel is over exaggerated in an I'm 14 and this is deep kind of way. And I understand that, and I know that, but at the same time, just because I'm reacting in an overactive way to something that's sad, doesn't mean it's not sad. So I may overreact and cry over something that's not worth overreacting and crying over, but it's still sad. And had I pushed, I never would have been able to come up with that. I wouldn't have been able to push. Had I pushed, I never would have come up with Stovepipe Johnny and his sad ending. I never would have been able to figure out how Stovepipe Ray had come to find the Speleodongus and how he designed it and how he built it, and their end thousands upon thousands of years in the future when he's just seen too much. Again, they're not great founts of anything that's profound, and a lot of it is just deep in that I'm 14 and this is deep kind of way. But at the same time, there is stuff falling down all over the place, and I don't know why. But it's still deep-ish. It's just my reactions to them are over-exaggerated. And that's fine. And so I just wanted to talk about that because I talked about that with my therapist, that yes, my subconscious / unconscious is coming up with a lot of characters that are me and such like that. So as I'm working through things, but I'm not finding these things out by forcing them and making them. I'm finding these things out by chewing away and finding out what's right and wrong. Yes, I've made this much background stuff so that I can make this much stuff on the setting, so I can use this much stuff in actual stories. But as I'd also mentioned with him, I'm the kind of person that I can build a house of cards that is 99.99999% complete and makes total full sense, but if I can't make that last tiny bit of a decimal work, that ruins the whole thing, and I can't use it because it doesn't make sense. Which is good and bad, because there is that, I can't remember the name of the writer. I'm pretty sure the name that I remember is the name of the character, Philip Marlowe, in the Philip Marlowe novels, but I honestly cannot remember who wrote those things. But earlier, way back when he was very popular and wrote these novels, and they were making movies about them, one of the movies they were working through and filming, and they realized that in the book, it doesn't say how a very pivotal plot point happened. Now, you couldn't, nothing made sense. How did this happen? So they called up the author and they asked him, and he knew that there was that, and he just said, I don't know. He knew that this very pivotal plot point didn't work, and that the whole story would collapse because it didn't work. But at the same time, narratively, it was fine. And the novel worked, so he didn't care. And sent it out, published it, became very popular. Very good novel. That shouldn't work. I would never have been able to do that. Oh well. Now, can I ever do anything? Am I ever going to write these things? Am I ever going to do anything with the creativity? I honestly don't know. Yes, the options are huge for self-publishing now, but again, it's like that thing without curation, and even with curation, when there's so much out there, what are the odds of ever being seen? So, I don't know. But hey, I've opened up 24 hours worth of comments in my community tab, and I'm going to go through and thank however many people have left me comments. It's not very many anymore, but anything more than 0 is awesome, and my nose is so itchy I've got like little hairs from my upper lip tickling my nostril. Yay! Thumbs up for that. And of course, if I mispronounce a username, no disrespect is intended, and even though I count American Sign Language with my fibromyalgia, gluten intolerance, and the donuts I ate yesterday, sometimes I'm amazed I can remember my own name. So let me call up my Chrome, and we have... I do not know how to pronounce it properly, so ALSYAFIQ, thumbs up and thank you, and it's on the list. There's the Hallway Conversation, thumbs up. Confused Owl 29, always good to see you in the comments. And Son of a Gun, Favel, the glutinous kind. Ooh. And then there's Ben B. Oh boy, I hate the explodey zombies. Then they're even worse in Dying Light. Oy vey. Flora Mew, good to see you, and a lot of good comments. And yeah, my therapist loved the whole big Iron John thing, so it is good. Kids Behind the Music, thumbs up and thank you. We have Princess Peach, greatly appreciated. There is Devo, thumbs up and thank you very, very much. We have I'm like Yogeshwaran, I'm nowhere close, but thank you very, very much. And oy vey, those bombers. And that is it. 10 people who left me comments in the last 24 hours. Greatly appreciated, each and every one of you. You get me out of my head and into the world and dealing with real people, if only for a short time, if only a text. It is appreciated. Definitely a thumbs up. And of course, I don't know what device you're watching this on, so I don't know where the show more is, or if you can even read it, but inside I have links to all of my various channels, as well as links to my Twitter, my Facebook, my Patreon. And again, I would like to thank each and every one of these Patreon patrons, these beautiful and awesome people. I mean, literally, without these people, I don't think I'd even be able to have a roof over my head. And I'm still slowly sinking, but I'm sinking so much slower with their help. Thank you, each and every one of you. It is greatly, greatly appreciated to no end. I thank you. My pets thank you. It is a very good thing. Definitely a thumbs up on that. If you'd like to help me out without becoming a patron, I do have a PayPal link as well. And if you'd like to help me out without sending cash, there's an Amazon wishlist link with things like cat food on it. So thumbs up. And of course, I have just gotten lost. But how about this one? I go, don't feel obligated, I don't feel entitled, and if you can't or you don't donate, I take all good wishes and I deposit them in the bank of my heart where I draw interest, so thank you very much. Oy vey, I'm laughing at myself, I suddenly cannot speak English. Gotta love that. If you can toss me a like, I appreciate all the positive validation you get from my existence, and of course if you hit the notification bell on the subscription button, thumbs up and thank you. And of course if you've watched this far, thank you as well again. I know very few people actually make it to the very end of the video, but if you're one of those that does watch to the end, thank you. It is appreciated very, very much. The total failure of vocal cords there again. My sincere apologies, but I'm going to change this and do more work. It's coming up on a holiday. I need to make some phone calls, but we'll see what happens. But still, with the Covfefe bug raging, please, if you do not have to go out amongst the unmasked, unvaxxed, mouth-breathing plague rats, please don't. If you do, maintain that social distancing, wear a mask, wash your hands often, try not to touch your face, get vaxxed if you can, get a booster as well. Hokey smokes. Oh, oy vey. Yay. So, be as creative as you can, do everything as you can to stay active mentally and physically. It does help, it is a good thing. So, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side. Well, and quite frankly, I think that's a very good thing.